Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. So, I was watching akeChezCharde this morning, and shout out to her. She always do these excellent compilation videos, one of which I'm going to review today, where it talks about Black women who are the single and lonely. Now, before you all start, I don't know, popping the champagne bottles or whatever you do in celebration, to the thought of it, understand this. And this comes from me, at least, but I think that there's a lot of brothers, maybe not so much in the manosphere as it exists today, but there are a lot of brothers who genuinely never wanted this. We never really wanted for either side to be lonely. I mean, it really doesn't make sense when you think about it, except for an overall unwillingness to properly negotiate, or an overall inability to properly negotiate on both sides. So, and let me just tell you what I mean about negotiation. Um, you have on one side a group of men who are not necessarily lonely, even though they may be alone, because men process solidarity a lot different than women. However, they are SE triple Xless. They are SE triple Xless. And we know this. This is a growing population. All the statistics say like 30% of men below 30, haven't had relations in a year or so. So this is a real problem. So you have that on one side. And then on the other side, you have a group of women who are lonely. Now they substitute or they attempt to substitute this feeling or this situation, or cope with this situation by having friend circles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, activities. And some of them take trips to places that they really don't enjoy because, I mean, it doesn't really change the overall situation, but it gives them a feeling that they're moving forward or that they're enjoying their life. So, on the other hand, you have that. Now, you would assume that these two groups would simply come together and work something out. Kind of like if I have peanut butter and one slice of bread, and you have jelly or excuse me, if I have peanut butter and two slices of bread, and you have jelly and two slices of bread, we should be able to come together and work something out. But that has proven more difficult than what it's worth for reasons on both sides. On the one hand, you have the women who are just going to hold out for a better deal. It's like, something, if I hold my jelly, then I could get twice as much peanut butter when he's desperate for some of this jelly. This is, the process that they talk about when they say leveraging the box. So really, they are investing in your loneliness. And what are they investing? They're investing their own time, or excuse me, they're investing in your thirst. And what are they investing? They're investing their own loneliness, meaning that they are holding out, hoping that you become, HORNEY before they become LO ONI. They're holding out for that. So you have the women doing that on one side. And then on the other side, you have the men who either are, on the player thing, and they want to, get as much box as they can with giving as little attention as possible, meaning that they are reserving their attention, meaning that they are leveraging their attention the same way the women are leveraging the box. And then they hop from bed to bed. There's those. And then there's the ones who wish to do that. So Until two people can come together, the two groups can come together and just have an intelligent conversation and say, listen, I got bread, I got peanut butter, you got bread, you got jelly. Let's work something out and let's be fair and reasonable. Until that conversation is had on a collective level, the same way we have a collective level of what do you bring to the table, or 50-50. We have all of these collective statements, but none of them are, mature. They're all weaponized. They're all, like, oh, I am the prize. And, they all just end with these ridiculous things and continued hostilities until you say, something, um, this is what this is how you would benefit and this is how I would benefit you. Um, the scenario for both of us may not be entirely ideal. However, it is better than the scenario that we both are in. And that is an intelligent conversation, a rational conversation that we should have, but we haven't had for quite some time. And you could see it play out online. When women say, I want a guy that's, with the 666s. You can't have a rational conversation with a woman like that. You really can't. You can't have a rational conversation with someone because what she's saying is, I'm going to hold out for that better deal. Um, Now she is a depreciating asset, and her asset initially wasn't worth what she was requesting. So it's she's really just banking on if a 666 guy is lonely enough to take an average woman. But until that conversation is had intelligently and rationally, um, there's going to be horniness on one side and loneliness on the other side, is what it is. It's a shame that it has to come to this, but I didn't build this world. I just live in it. Okay. Someone brought up a good point. If you have any questions before I get into the video, go ahead and leave it in there, and I'll try to respond. But somebody said, how many women are asking for 666 though? Um, 666 is really just a way of saying an outrageous request. It doesn't necessarily have to be 666. However, it typically is something that less than 1% of the population has, of the male population has, and or um something that is less than or excuse me, and not and or, is something that less than 1% of the population, the male population, has, and something that over 60% of the female population wants. So and which is a losing endeavor for an average woman. It simply is. Not to say that women don't get with guys like that, but because those guys are by definition in low supply, there's not going to be enough women to go around. And also, to create an environment of scarcity, there has to be suffering on the people who are creating the scarcity. I'm going to explain to you what that means. So when you think about like a strike, let's just say a police strike. If police officers were to go on strike, they have to suffer, they have to endure, they have to go without paychecks for an unknown period of time in order to assure that they get a better deal. That's what we're dealing with right now in the black community. Black women are going on what's called a femininity strike in order to get a better deal. And quite frankly, what they're requesting cannot be provided. It's like, and I don't know if many of you were following this because I thought it was tragic. When Hostess cupcakes and Hostess bread, I think it was, they went out of business. Now I know that you say, "Oh, I can go to the store and buy one." They were bought out, but as it was, they went out of business, and the recipe is different. Nevertheless, they went out of business because the unions made demands, and they kept making demands, and they made so many demands that they came to a point to where they said, "Okay, I'm going to make these demands." Hostess said, "Listen, I cannot meet these demands. I cannot pay you that much. If I did, we will go out of business." The workers say, "We don't care." They continued to push their demands, and Hostess went out of business, and they lost their jobs. That's what you call a lose lose. That's and it's a result of an over ask. So yes, why would we stop needing men if we're broke? Maybe I misworded the thing. I kind of did it last minute. I changed it from examining black fem cells amongst us, but let me see what I changed it into. So I kind of did it last minute. So hmm, it's an interesting topic. I'm gonna click on that. Um, I was looking at Shay Sade video and something else came up as a suggestion, but in the meantime, let me just check my the title of my video because I genuinely don't know. Dear Black women, stop needing men when you're broke. No, no, that's the title I meant to have. Basically, you can't really, and you shouldn't come to the negotiation table when you're broke, because what it does is it makes it clear to the men, it rings to the men that you're really just looking for financial security. And financial security is necessary, but it's a necessary means to an end. Are you looking for financial security for yourself, or are you looking for financial security because it's a stable foundation to build a family on? So, it's very difficult for a woman to negotiate with an intelligent man at that point, because she knows that her intentions, because he knows that her intentions are likely not sincere. It does make sense. You just have to think about it, or listen to a smarter person think about it. All right. So it says, most women have figured out you only need one thing to secure his bag. And once again, that's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, because you're of that secure his bag mindset, um, you can't really see far outside of it. And quite frankly, men are going to avoid a secure his bag woman, because at least for long-term relationships, it would make more sense for a man to pay direct, which causes all type of problems for a woman. She actually don't want that scenario, but it would be in his best interest to do that, as opposed to dealing the pretense of trying to secure his bag. All right. We don't have to suffer. There's plenty of non-black women who aren't on a femininity strike. Yeah, this is true. And just like with any strike, those women are what's called scabs, or what people who strike call scabs. They're scabs. They're the women who, or they're the people. So whenever you have a union and a union goes on strike, the employers, the corporations, what they would do is they will hire replacements to those workers. Those replacements are called by the workers who are striking scabs. Maybe it's an acronym for something, or maybe it's just because when you're wounded, a scab is what's there. Nevertheless, that's what they are, and these people are met with disdain and ridicule from the actual workers. And yes, you can see that in the way that black women behave towards white women. You know, um, oh, you snow bunny. You Karen. Oh, you got yourself a Becky with the good hair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That type of disdain is, very similar to the disdain a union worker has for non-union workers during a strike. And yes, men do that. And passport bros and people who travel overseas is the equivalent to corporations who who manufacture in China to avoid American unionism. So yes, this is an alternative. The unfortunate side effect of this, especially for the black community, is that it's indefinite. Like, those jobs in China are not going back, no matter how, no matter how much our the current administration attempts these asinine tariffs, they're not coming back. Which means that, and this is where we talk about the lonely black woman, is that there's going to be a lot of black women who are looking for work and can't secure it because, and I'm still sticking with the analogy. So, when you have hyper unionism and things like that, and you just take it too far, you're going to have people who are looking for work and can't find it because corporations have found alternatives, or they just went out of business. Oh, okay. Let's see. Secure his bag makes you a bad person. Yeah. And this is something that you would hear someone like Nicole Michelle say. Secure his bag, and I mean, what they're doing is, they still look at it as an arrangement, which doesn't really sound romantic, but that's how a lot of relationships are. It's an arrangement. Like, I will be curing your horniness, and you will be helping with my financial concerns. So yes, that is an arrangement that a lot of people have. And that's what they mean when they say securing his bag. However, if a man was smart, and this is why marriage laws are what they are today, and there are so many safeguards against this thinking. But if men were not romantic beings, then we would find it in our best interest to rotate women out, when they get old. Hit the like button, because it's just an arrangement. And just like if an employee ages out of a job function that's highly physical, which is what that is, then you would simply hire a younger employee. So you really shouldn't, and this is to the women, you really shouldn't want to go that route. But many women are stupid, and because of that stupidity, well, maybe men are too. There's this thinking of forever young that's going on, that's promoted in Western society. I'm young, I look good. I'm young, I look good. 40 is the new 20. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. There's a 20-year-old alive that feels 40. So they like to think that. And society encourages this thinking. You have shows like Sex in the City where women in their 40s and 50s are going out finding these, rich, handsome men that don't want a woman that cook, clean, or bear children for them, that just want a woman that sits up, order takeout, and fill up her shoe closet. They'll tell you that. That's the fantasy. They'll tell you that, but reality is going to strike, and it's going to strike hard. And we're going to examine that reality. All right, says no women dating for money date black guys. Yes, they do. There may be a smaller financial expectation and a much smaller financial assumption. But the short answer is yes, they do. I've seen SW say they don't take black male clients. Yeah, that's for a number of reasons. 'Cause I read an article on that. Um, that's for a number of reasons, and also seen it on a documentary. Um, and maybe it's because black men have a more intimate relationship with SWs. Because make no mistake, it is largely our women who are the SWs. People have a problem paying for what they feel is theirs. And black men in particular have apprehension of paying for a woman that their friend is selling to you. It's not really a comfortable thing with black men when you have this guy, let's just call him Sonny, and Sonny is a P. Sonny the P, P, kick it with me, me. He's just that dude. And ethnically, he's very similar to you. So, if not just downright the same as you. So, by your logic, this whole thing of what does he have that I don't have, will come into effect, and you are going to be apprehensive. In fact, black men are more likely to try to be Sonny the P as opposed to being a patron of Sonny the P. Now, SW is going to know this, and it's from a modern woman perspective, especially a SW. It doesn't make sense. This whole P business, it doesn't really make sense to them, so they're going to be annoyed by it. And I can understand the annoyance that they would have. Like, you're selling a product, and then you have a person come to you and say, hey, not only do I want your product that you're selling for free, I want you to give me any money that you make from your product. So yes, there are going to be some SWs that are like, get out of here with that foolishness. Because it does sound foolish when you take away all the psychological aspects. If you have a fruit stand, if you're selling strawberries, as I see Mexicans do often, on the corner, and somebody say, hey, let me get some free strawberries. And when you make some money off these strawberries, I want you to give it to me because I got game. No one wants to deal with that. No business person who's looking at it wants to deal with that. So that not what you think, but that's the real reason why you know they just don't entertain brothers. Which keep it a buck. If and this is from what I've seen on oh, excuse me, this is from what I've seen on those shows. um they do. They do. You just have to establish that you're not about what those other types are on. Um, most rich white people marry other rich white people. I don't understand why black women think they have so many rich brads to choose from? Well, that's part of the mating strategy. What they're just doing is trying to create an artificial scarcity mindset amongst black men so that they can once again get a better deal. Understand this: everything, everything that a man does or a black woman does is to get a better deal from black men. Point blank. Period. Just like everything a man does is to get more booty, is to get more SE XXX. Everything a black woman does is to get a better deal from black men. And that includes this divestiture swirling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I like girlfriends. I like girlfriends too in the beginning. I related so much to Tony. Well, okay. I didn't know you were talking about the show. But all right, I can understand that. Are you a trick? Yes or no? It's very difficult to answer that. Are you a trick, GC, or no? So it's very difficult to answer that in a yes or no way because the definition of trick is fluid. Is fluid. If you're out with a girl and even though you'll split the bill, you paid a tip, somebody will say that. And that's because, that's a weaponized word to shame people. If you're asking, do I, go to the street and solicit pros, the answer to that is no. All right, give me one moment. Okay. StreamYard is acting funny. It's saying the browser cannot access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. Okay. Let me see it. Dang, StreamYard's getting on my nerves sometimes. All right, let me just find something to watch. Give me a moment. Hit that like button and go to history. Let's do a shorter today. Actually, I'll just click here. Come on, come on, come on. Dang it. Okay, let's just do another Shay Sade video and see if that happens. No, I'm not gonna do my video. Do another Shay Sade video, see. Or actually, I'll just try sharing the screen as opposed to sharing the link. So, All right, hold on. Entire screen. Let's do it that way. Come on. Okay, so looks like we have some technical difficulties here. Um, so I'm gonna read some of your comments, and I guess we'll just talk about the subject matter to the chat room because the show must go on. So let me just go to Shay Shardays while I'm doing that. All right, so y'all keep the chats coming, and I'll read them off to you, and or I'll give you my response while I try to figure out what's going on here. All right, so says. Did I respond to this? Most rich white people marry other rich white people. I don't understand why black. Oh yeah, I read that one. Okay. Like girlfriends are you a trick? Okay, so Jason Gray says, "Hello everyone. I hope you're well." Yeah, we're well. All right. Shout out to Shay Sade. She has a video here called 8 minutes of black men marrying their real preference, which I agree with this message. All right. Yeah, keep the chats coming. Manosphere Highlights Daily did a video on Shirley Chisholm that perfectly highlights the issue between black men and black women. Well, what's I think I seen like the thumbnail of that video, but what is it saying? Because Shirley Chisholm, it seems like well, first of all, it does highlight a major concern that we have in the black community that most definitely needs to be addressed, and that is um, when black men and women support black female advancement, but it's only black men that support black men advancement and boys, which means that black men and boys cannot have a program that's just for them that black women will support. Same is not true for other groups of women. It's just not, or excuse me, other groups of people. Like other groups of people have organizations like Mothers Against Drunk Driving. This is something that both men, um, or excuse me, boys and girls can benefit from. In our community, we support women's shelters. We support programs like Black Girls Code, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have to look at that. So I seen Scott Galloway, and he's one of these, fake doctors slash panderers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, yeah, not really. So him being on Oprah, is not surprising, and Oprah, cheering on what he says and does and encouraging women, particularly black women, to get on board with this foolishness is not surprising. It's not surprising. So, yeah. In fact, let me see if I could bring that particular video up. Let's see. Scott Galloway basically tells men to suck it up and accept a bad deal. Well, yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, it is necessary for a lot of men to just accept the bad deal that's on the table. And a lot of men do and have accepted the bad deal. The problem with bad deals is that they keep getting worse. Like once it's kind of like the reparations thing, which would be a bad deal for America. once you accept the bad deal, the people who received the good end of the bad deal, they're just going to want another. It's kind of like that whole, take an inch or give an inch, they'll take a mile thing. All right. So, all right. It says he's also very intelligent. I love the interview. I haven't seen the interview. So I guess I'll see if I could watch it now. Oh, it's only 4 days old, at least according to this one. All right. Looks like it's not letting me play that either. It says Scott was spot on. Scott Galloway just basically tells men to suck it up and say, okay. He's also very intelligent. I love the interview. Maybe he is. Okay. Um, a lot of men are the bad deal. Well, it depends on the deal and the man. Um, I mean, a lot of everything is bad. Like a lot of apples are rotten. I don't really know what the point of saying that was, but most men just want someone who is nice to them, and we can't even get that. Hmm. Um, Now that's interesting. And I'm wondering, I'm scanning that for untruths, not because I'm trying to be a contrarian, but I just want to like explore that. So um yes, I do think that that's true. And the reason why I was given some hesitation was because women who are not nice will become nice for an extraordinarily favorable deal to them. But because the gap of what they deserve and what they're seeking is so large that the average man cannot perform, meaning that more than half of men cannot give them what they want, so they see no need to be nice to more than half of men, which makes your statement very true, and that is most men just want someone nice, or excuse me, most men don't have access to someone who has basic niceness. So yeah, um, are most men nice? Yes, and that is not because we're innately nice people, even though we are. It's because men are in a situation that they're really not in a situation. Modern men are not in a situation to not be nice. You need, in other words, you need an abundance to not be nice, and quite frankly, most men don't have an abundance. That's just the way society's set up now. All right. You can't want what you don't give. Well, I don't give blowjobs, and I want one. What are you talking about? Be smarter. Yes, most men are nice. Okay. Here, I'll open up the panel because it doesn't seem like the thing is going to work. So, all right. It says, Dominic, you're right. Okay. Genuine niceness is not conditional femininity. Absolutely. Though some men don't know the difference. Most people, men and women, are just trying their best to handle their business and get through the day. Um, hmm. I'm going to give some pushback to that. And that's because, as earlier we were talking about the whole leverage aspect of it. So it's one thing trying to get through the day. It's another thing when you are trying to leverage a population. So, because I think it's true, but it's not just that. I think that your statement is true, that they're just trying to get through the day. But okay, say once again, there's a police strike, right? And during that strike, a lot of would-be police officers become, um, I don't know, security guards. They become Walmart security guards, or they become personal security guards to like celebrities or rich people or something like that, but bodyguards. Now, though it's true that he's just trying to get through the day, there is still a lingering agenda, meaning that what he's doing on a day-to-day basis is weaponized against the city for something else. So, like a woman who is, like, oh, I'm on welfare, I'm struggling, I'm working three jobs just to maintain. You're doing that so that you can starve out the market, because at any time you could just find a guy that would help in this endeavor. And I'm not even talking about like a sugar daddy or even a high value man or something like that. If you aren't even willing to do a 50-50 relationship, it's because you are holding out for a better deal. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. You're holding out for a better deal. So if you're an average woman and you refuse to get with an average guy and share your average lifestyle and combine become an exceptional household, it's because you're holding out for a better deal. So even though on a day-to-day you're just getting by, that getting by is weaponized. Conditional. What do they deserve? I'm not sure who you mean by they in this context. I will say that both men and women deserve someone who is a reflection of the efforts that they put out and into the next person. So a man who works out deserves a woman who does the same, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I felt like most men overvalue themselves. Hmm. Elaborate on that. I know I don't date men. So give example of that. Most men are very benign, but are treated like we hate women for not wanting a masculine woman. Very true. Masculine equals a woman that behaves as a man. A woman who speaks up for herself. Well, it's not necessarily a matter of simply speaking up for oneself. When they feel that that is a virtue, when they feel that that's a virtue, then yes, it does come off as masculine. So s- bringing this to black women, and this was very disturbing. And this happened recently. I think sometime during the week, I for whatever reason was looking for something to watch on Amazon Prime, and Pam Grier came up, and a movie called Coffee Brown came up, and I'm watching it, and here you have Pam Grier, who is Jesus. She is just downright gorgeous, and the Tig Old Biddies, like, um, I should say was, but she definitely was preserved for a very long time. So I'm watching this, and she had her dude, her brother, I mean, who was with this white woman who, compared to Pam Grier, was very, 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 very mid. And um, so when Pam Grier came into the thing, and this is on the movie Coffee Brown, and she was upset at her brother, so she just did like a whole Medea shooting up the place, and the white girl, doing what women should do, and that is, scream and holler and be frightened in moments like that. She said, "Who's that?" And dude said, "That's Coffee Brown, and she a whole lot of woman." Um, we instilled something into the community with movies like that. And I know it was well intended, but we instilled something into the community, and that is this belief that men are attracted to women in masculine roles. If you were a young girl, and this movie came out in 1974, if you're a young girl and you were to watch that movie, and you would see the way men lust after Pam Grier for obvious reasons, you would assume that that reasons had something to do with her behavior and nothing to do with those tig old biddies. You would assume that if you're a young girl, like, oh, this is what men want. It's like, well, yeah, that's what men want, and there's nothing really that Pam Grier can do that would be unattractive. But there is an assumption that we want these women who are over aggressive and hostile, and it's become a very false assumption. So a lot of black women, what they do when they say they're speaking up for themselves, is really that they are peacocking aggression because they are under the impression that black men like it. Many black men are blinded by the beauty of women like Pam Grier, and may even convince themselves that they like it until they actually experience it. Very good question. Would you watch Leslie Jones in the same role? Yes. If Pam Grier was also in it. If Pam Grier was also in the movie with Leslie Jones, I would watch the movie. If there was a movie where 1970s Pam Grier had to rescue Leslie Jones, and she didn't, she died and was an ugly funeral, then yes, I would watch that. But just like when you eat a burnt or rotten sunflower seed, you need a bunch of other regular sunflower seeds to counteract the nastiness that just happened. That's what watching Leslie Jones is. That's why I do not really, actually, I don't really see her movies. I see her commercials, and that's because they pop up on me. Um, if you ever notice, Leslie Jones not only is an extraordinarily unattractive woman, in fact, she just might be the ugliest woman alive with the last name Jones, which is a very common last name. Um, I think she might even be the ugliest woman in whatever her zodiac is. However, Leslie Jones makes it a point to avoid movies where there are attractive women on it as well. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. So, if there was a movie starring Leslie Jones and Rihanna, Leslie Jones wouldn't take that role. I mean, and I think it's partly because she wants to be the center of attention. And she knows that no matter how boisterous her personality may be or how funny she thinks she is, she knows that the moment a more beautiful woman walks into the room, because keep in mind, this isn't nouveau ugly, Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones is genetically garbage in the aesthetic sense. So, meaning that she was ugly her whole damn life. And one thing that they realize, that ugly girls realize at a very young age, is that no matter what they do, say, no matter what they achieve, the prettier girl will always get more attention. They understand that. So she's not going to take a role where there's a prettier girl getting the attention, even if she's the lead. Shout out to the Bay. All right. Um, the problem we have is that we are ashamed for not wanting Leslie Jones. Well, we are shamed for. Oh yeah, you said that. You didn't say ashamed. We are shamed for not wanting Leslie Jones. Yes, that's one of the many problems, and the reason for that is because Leslie Jones is a litmus test to see if you're broken, if a man is broken or if he's broke. But once a man embraces Leslie Jones, then that signals to women that he's desperate, he's thirsty, he's at the point to where I got him right where I want him. And, basically embracing Leslie Jones is an unconditional surrender of your penis. It is a unconditional surrender of your penis. Why? She must know her by now. Know who? What are you talking about? Okay. I understand. Don't say stuff like her because I read these later, so I don't know who that is. Who shame y'all? Leslie Jones for start. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We've been shamed like that for a long time. Poor men cannot have supermodels. Yes, they can. However, it probably wouldn't suit them to ask for one or require one, but absolutely they can. Um, Pam Grier said long time ago that she wasn't interested in having a husband or kids, and that she puts her career first. Well, and that's a shame because careers are very, very, very temporary. Um, and when you're as old as Pam Grier, which is pretty damn old by now, um, first of all, your career is crap. Like I haven't seen her in a role since like '06, and she was already playing like some grandmother stuff because she's gotten fat and nasty looking by now. But um, so yeah, like without a bunch of people calling you grandma and nana, it really is just it's like, what did you get out of that? I don't get it. Here, I'm gonna look up Pam Grier because I think she did marry. I think she married that dude from Penitentiary. All right, so she's 76 years old. Oh wow. Okay, this is from the first look. I'm actually gonna click the wiki. Yeah, yeah. Looks like she is not married, which is a waste. Hold on one moment. I'm just gonna double check because sometimes they don't mention it. I mean, it looks like she never married. All right. Let's see. Oh, huh. I didn't know that. Okay. Found out something interesting. Okay. So, nevertheless, yeah, she doesn't look like she ever married. Now, which is a tragedy because um she was fine as hell. Is what it is. You see, the premise of the movie, hit the like button, people. The premise of the movie, Goodwill Hunting. And for those of you who don't know, if you haven't seen it by now, you're not going to see it. So, embrace these spoilers. Goodwill Hunting was starring Matt Damon and Robin Williams. It was a story of a young man who then was Matt Damon, who was a genius. In fact, he was a genius amongst genius. He had an exceptional intelligence that exceeded the Ivy League. There was a professor that put math equations on the board at Harvard, I think that they were in, but some Ivy League university, that even the mathematicians, students there couldn't solve, and very few people in the world could solve it. He would put it on the board. The janitor there, Matt Damon, would solve these equations. So it was undiscovered genius. So, um, without bringing up the whole movie, through a series of events, Matt Damon, he just wanted to live this blue collar lifestyle, and his friend, played by Ben Affleck, one day just said, if you continue to live this lifestyle with me, I'll kill you. You're sitting on a winning lottery ticket, and if you refuse to cash it in, I'll kill you. The people who live the lifestyle that Matt Damon lives, and this is no shot to the janitors of the world because I'm not a genius either. But it's like you have this gift, and your refusal to embrace it is a slap in the face to those who wish they had that gift. Gifts are given to people for certain reasons. It's a gift. You enjoy it. And to see it go to waste is a tragedy. And that's how I look at Pam Greer's beauty. Your gift there are a lot of women, and I wish I could show the video. There are a lot of women who wish that they looked anywhere near as attractive as Pam Greer at any stage in their life. And what they would do with that would be so much different than the lonely existence that they have now. It is ridiculous. So the fact that she found herself in this position, you know, um, with no kids and no eggs and no husband and looking like trash right now, it's just sad. Now, Wikipedia is asking me to give them $2.75. The problem is, it's not the $2.75. It's the fact that once I give it again, you're gonna start bothering me a lot. I give to Wikipedia, I do, but you're gonna start bothering me again. You're gonna start sending me emails more. Somebody said everything comes down to money. Let's just see. Let's just see her net worth. Okay, so it says $4 million. Um, yeah, okay, okay. So you could have had a family, you know, and a lifetime of love, but instead you got $4 million. Good for you, I guess. Lacey Jones is fine. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. There's a huge gap between a supermodel and Leslie Jones. Yes, and that gap is between the supermodel's thighs and not between Leslie Jones' thighs. I agree. I agree. And the thing is, the interesting thing is that Leslie Jones wants the same thing that the supermodel wants. Now, Leslie Jones know that any man that she wants, she has to wait in line behind a supermodel. So, what do Leslie Jones do? Well, the same thing that society has done with Pam Grier, or whoever the ugly bitch of the '70s was, and that is convince them to not want the same thing that they want. Somebody, or some group of bodies, convince Pam Grier to get off the market. Somebody. And black women who are attractive, you should not have ugly broads in your circle, yet alone taking counsel from them. They're not your friends. Nobody said anything about supermodels. Black women always jump to extremes. Absolutely. That's why she was also talking about extreme poverty, or just like a ridiculous, scenario where like a homeless man is demanding supermodels. They always do that. Um, it's like I don't like short dudes. Like, so, okay, so you're not interested in a guy based on height? And she said, well, should I date a midget? That's them jumping to extremes. So then when you say, okay, I guess you don't have to date midgets if you don't want to. That's right. That's why I'm looking for somebody 6'5". That's what they do. Ignore the tactics. You come here to get a sense of the tactics. So you're better prepared when you deal with that foolishness. So it just rubs off your shoulders when you deal with it in real life. That's the mission of my channel, at least. If a man desires Leslie Jones, it's like being attracted to Chewbacca. Yeah, yeah, it means that you are what's those called? Into bestiality. Absolutely. That is the that is very akin to bestiality because she's quite frankly a beast by appearance, at least. Uh, I don't know what's good for her. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Being alone is good. Listen, Tom Arnold got with Roseanne and he did okay. In that case, he got a return on his investment. So yeah, it's if you're saying that Tom Arnold may have done that for purposes of career advancement, absolutely. It did advance his career. I mean, he became somebody that no one would probably know to someone that people knows. And it's not anything exceptional about his acting ability or his looks that would propel his career. So he looks like an average middle-aged white guy when he was middle-aged, and when he had a career. So yeah, um, yeah, I agree. The purpose of women that look like Leslie Jones and Roseanne Barr, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the purpose of them is to get men where they need to be so they can get better looking women. That is their purpose. Everything these women are supposed to do is to prepare men for better women. And that includes getting them money, getting them career advancements, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The goal of ugly broads is to build you up for better broads, at least to men with ambition. And if they don't like it, then don't get with a man with ambition. That's why ugly women belong with broke dudes. But you can't tell them that. Um, Early 90s, Roseanne was an average white woman. No, she was not. No, she was not. You got to understand what's going on as far as the definition of fat and the sliding bar of fat. Roseanne Barr was fat in a time and community where very few fat women existed. I'm going to repeat that. Roseanne Barr was fat in a time and in a community where very few fat women existed. In fact, I would even, and I know the definition of fat is bigger now than she was in the 90s, but she was that. She was fat by that standard. Um, I would even challenge someone to find a fatter white woman that precedes Roseanne Barr. Because it's easy in the black community. You have the Louise Jeffersons, you have the Florida Evans, and then prior to that, you had the Hattie McDaniels, and you also had the I think her name is Hill Harper, the one who played Nell Carter on Give Me a Break. So we always had this mammy trope in our community. It didn't really exist in the white community. So no, she is extraordinarily unattractive, physically speaking. Yeah. Do I appreciate her body of work? Absolutely. I appreciate her body of work because it humanized white people for me. Prior to her show, the outside perception of whiteness was, even when I was a kid, I was thinking like, wow, white kids never get whippings. That's the first thing that I really thought about white people. Um, you're grounded. I'm like, wait, what's that? Is that like a special type of ass whooping? So, yeah, there was always this idealized life that white people portrayed, and um, even though Roseanne Barr wasn't like a drama where they just show like an abusive situation or anything like that or extreme poverty, they were still homeowners, and things like that. It didn't have this idealized um, family ties, growing pains, Brady Bunch, Partridge Family view of whiteness. It didn't have that. So I do appreciate that show from that. It did have some realism to it. Pam lived her life on her own terms. Respect, Queen. You're stupid. Homeless people live their life on their own terms. Be less stupid. Jesus, why you come? All right. I don't remember Roseanne ever being slim like an average white woman. That's because she wasn't. She came on to be an outlier. The supermodel and all other women on earth. Yeah. Terrible actor. Okay, if you're talking about Tom Arnold, no, I wouldn't call him a terrible actor. Or yeah, I wouldn't call him a terrible actor. I mean, he was okay. So it's funny because on Deadpool, on Deadpool 2, there's a guy who has that white physique. When they talk about dad bods, they're talking about white guys, by the way. But he has that appearance, and he was on the movie Deadpool, and it's just funny the way they treated it. It's hilarious. Like the main character played by Ryan Reynolds, he's just like, I love this guy, and he always looks out for him, protects him, and stuff like that. And even though he's just like a very, very, very average and basic dude, they still gave him like superhero status and stuff like that. It was hilarious. And that reminds me of Tom Arnold. He's always just been this basic regular white guy, and and he knows that that's why his career is what it is. He never went for the handsome romantic lead, or anything like that, nor did he go for like the exceptionally ugly dude, or the kung fu master or anything like that. He knew his lane and he mastered that lane. But the thing is that very, very, very a lot of people can fit in that role. My neighbors could fit in that role, to be perfectly honest. um he got these parts like in Cradle to the Grave and stuff like that because of name recognition, his proximity to Roseanne Barr, period. It's not what you know, it's who you know, especially in Hollywood. Those are starter wives and practice girls. So what are starter wives if they're rich? And yes, it is something that you do until you do better. And Jeff said most men are nice. Well, I explained why they are. So by 90 standards, Roseanne was obese. I'm gonna refresh and see if that helps. I'll be right back, y'all. Testing, test. Press one if you could hear me. Press one. Thank you to all the people that stayed. Nobody's pressing one. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, let's see. All right. How come the thing vibrating? All right, finally. All right. So now let's give it a try. Let's give the screen share a try. Yeah, so full disclosure, and I was talking to Theo about this last time he was on my show, is that in our line of work, um, he's in cybersecurity, I'm in software development and stuff like that. We're kind of trained to not reboot our computers very often. And we don't reboot our computers very often because we always have, and it's not that I'm working on my personal computer, even though I do. But it's really that in our line of work, we always have like a lot going on, like a lot of different screens, a lot of different tabs and stuff like that that we have to refer back to quickly. Not just that particular tab, or application or page that you're working on, but the very specific spot that you have it scrolled to. We have a lot of that going on. So what happens is you develop habits of keeping a lot of tabs open, and we rarely, if ever, reboot. We rarely, if ever, reboot our computers. And so sometimes when we have problems, it's likely due to that. Um, and those of you who work in the industry know exactly what I'm talking about. So those of you who don't, now you know. All right, so let's go back. Ah, there we go. Finally. Okay. So yeah, sometimes you just need a hard reboot. And that's what I got. So let's get to it. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here we go.
It's really hard not to feel like a failure. And the things that you have done, you have nothing to show for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm having the hardest time. I'm having the hardest time. I don't have any high income paying skills, so I don't even know how I'm supposed to get a job. When I did work, I worked as a chef and a pharmacy tech. Both things you need certification for. I do not have certification for either one. I'm genuinely like, and then it's like, if you want just a low stress job, they don't even pay enough for you to have housing. So I'm still gonna be in the same situation. I'm so tired of being homeless, unemployed, and having to ask people to help me all the time.
Why she on TikTok?
Okay. The thing about low stress jobs, there is and has really always existed low stress jobs for women in the form of sucking my dick, which is a very low stress, and arguably high reward job. It's called the blow job. Now, that aside, Joking aside, levity aside, how are you desperate for a low stress job? Like I'm homeless, I'm desperate, but I don't want to stress. I don't want the stress of work. Can't I just have job without a stress? What the hell? And then she says she has nothing to show for it in a family sense. And I'm thinking like, wait, why is this conversation of family? Hence the title. Why is this family conversation coming up at the money conversation at the same time? Like, it didn't bother you that you didn't have a family when, when you had this pharmacy tech job, which it seems like I don't know, I'm not a pharmacy tech, nor have I ever been one. Um, but it does seem like you're doing the exact same thing as a cashier, but they make you take a few courses for liability purposes because you are a drug dealer. And the only reason why they make you take those courses, really, like truth be told, is so if somebody passes out the wrong drugs or something like that, like by mistake, like grandma don't get her heart medication, instead she get like some Viagra. If that happens, they could say, well, we hired this certified technician, so when that happened, it's because that was on her. I think that's what it's really all about, but it doesn't in fact, I'll look it up because I don't think it takes much to be a pharmacy tech, and or a chef. Like, and I'm not talking about, like, I'm talking about a one-star chef. It don't really seem like it take much to be a one-star chef. I know a dude that was a one-star chef, and he one-star chef at hospitals and prison. I kid you not. And I think that that's what she was doing. It's not even technically chefing at that point when the food is meant to taste like crap. Like, so, crap. All right, let's see. How to get pharmacy technician license. Okay, let's see. To get a pharmacy technician's license, you need a high school diploma slash GED. Must complete an improved training path. Like, okay, how long? Pass the required exam. Um, then apply to the California Board of Pharmacy with fees, fingerprint, live scan. I had to do that when I was working with kids. Um, a photo, and so live scan costs like $35 if it's the same price from when I did it. And they paid for it. I was in this program where I mentored kids in science when I was in college. But let's see. Let me see how long it takes the PTCB. Getting a PTCB certification can take 1 year or less for training, um, and a few weeks to a few months for the application and exam process. So, yeah, yeah, I had a feeling that it wasn't really like a lot with that. What's going on, Brownsburg? All right, so she's fat, and the other one, by the way, shout out to Chantel Simone. Um, I'm gonna try to say it like she say it, um, with the Jamaican talk. Saggy titty. I can't talk Jamaican, but she got droopy titties. Her titties sag. And the reason why her titties sag, not because she's, old, even though she very well may be, but um, the reason why her titties sag is not because she's old. It's because she walks around her home like that all day with no bra on. She don't see a need to put a bra on. She behaves in dresses and stuff for comfort. She wakes up in a purple robe and she goes to bed in a purple robe. And with no bra, it's just her titties just go downer and downer and downer.
Why she on TikTok telling people all this stuff? Because I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of this same cycle happening year after year after year after year, generation after generation after generation. I am tired. And it's like nobody wants to tell us. They don't warn us. They don't tell us. They want us to figure it out on our own. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it on my own. I'm tired of having to figure it out on my own. I'm tired of having to wake up every day, feed the kids, clothe the kids. I'm exhausted. I can't even get my mental self together because I have to focus on my kids first. And it's only me. I can't call their dad and ask him, hey, you think you can buy them a pair of shoes because school's going to be starting? I don't have that. And it's overwhelming that when I do ask for help, I don't get the help. I get, well, I did it, so you should do it. I did it, so you should do it. So you are still mentally unhealed at 60 plus years old. You want me to go through that same thing because you did it? Yeah. I'm literally just trying not to break. So I came on TikTok because I'm like, hey, I don't know anybody on here. Maybe I can find other women that can relate to me. And it's a whole fucking spew of us on here going through the same fucking shit. I'm fucking tired. Why is it always gotta be us? Why? This shit, I'm tired and I'm getting off here before I start crying.
Like, yo, we so seriously need to bring back community.
Okay. All right. I got it. Wow. Wow. All right. There's a lot of laziness going on. At least that's what I heard in her blurb. That was a lot of laziness. That was a lot of I have to be a mother. Why do I have to be a mother? Just because my mother was a mother and my mother's mother was a mother, my mother's mother's mother was a mother, my mother's 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 was a mother, my mother's mother was a mother. Like what? But I'm gonna complain about it. I'm going to complain about it. Now, one of two things happened, and I don't know the circumstances to which she became a single mom. But we all can suspect because we know what the culture is surrounding that. But nevertheless, without speculation, we can assume that, or we can rightly conclude that because she has more than one kid, that she either had more than one deadbeat dad, or she had multiple kids by the same guy that somehow ended, and she, failed to attract another mate, a stepdad. Those are the likely, and that's being nice, outcome that led her into that position. Um, what do you mean no one told you single motherhood is bad? If you ever heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, you were warned. You see, people like to say that they weren't warned when they ignore warnings. Like a person who gets the big C after decades of chain smoking saying, "No one told me. No one told me." Well, it says it on the label. It says it on the label. And everybody warned you. Even Smokey the Bear. No, it wasn't Smokey the Bear. It wasn't Smokey the Bear. Anyway, even in like the after school stuff that they had in the 80s, um and it was all like don't smoke. Why are these women acting like they're the first crackhead? Like, why are they acting like? Because I get it. The first crackhead didn't have any warning. I grew up in a time where I seen crackheads, and I was like, something, that is not the type of adult I want to be. I only had to see Minister Society once. I'm like, oh crap, I am not going down on a man for $2. If that's where crack leads, any path that leads to that, I am not going to take. And anybody who take that path, if you are born in the 80s and you still decided to be a crackhead, that is a you thing. Don't say you wasn't warned. The entire world warns you. It takes a village to raise a kid. Even though they try to mute it, the value of family is prevalent. Now, what is it with these women in robes and tits? Look at this. Underneath her arms is where her tits are. Like, there's no tits up here. There's tits down here. They're just nasty. This comes from decades of robe walking. And trust me, the government is funding. The government is funding her lifestyle, or somebody else is funding her lifestyle. She's not funding it herself, or she will be complaining about work too. But she's not, because she's awful.
I'm getting off here before I start crying.
Like, yo,
And this is why so many ugly chicks in the black community, because she has kids and Pam Grier didn't. So you see the genes that we allow to continue to prosper.
we so seriously need to bring back community, like on a real level, on a genuine level. Like, and it's not just about money for real. It's just about like having people around you to get through life. Like genuine people who just mean you well. There's nothing ulterior. Just genuine energy, bro. That shit is so uncommon, and that shit is part of why we're like fucking falling apart individually. Like, as much as I can't take care of myself, it still sucks doing it by myself. Like, I just busted a flat tire on 59, so I got off the highway, and like I'm sitting here, like I have roadside assistance on my insurance, so like I'm waiting on it, and it's not even, it's not even about the inconvenience of it. It's not about the money or anything. It's like a big part of it is like being alone in it. Like I can't call anybody and like someone's gonna come and like be there with me, and support me. And this is kind of like with everything. And I think this is why you have a lot of people who like, it's like no matter how successful you are, if you don't have genuine people around you who mean you well, bro, it doesn't mean anything. Like, this is why we out here fucking unhappy, because people don't genuinely like care for each other and look out for each other. It's all like, look out for yourself and every man for himself. And well, that sounds like a you problem. And meanwhile, everybody's kind of like crumbling through, doing it on their own. And then it's like fucking reactive abuse to tell people like, I suffer so bad. I suffer all the fucking time, so you should too. And I don't like that shit, yo. I just want to be somebody girlfriend, somebody wife.
Okay. Um, with the last one, she mentioned a problem, but she's not really talking about the cause of that problem when she talks about community. And it's right, black people don't have a community. Um, and what black people, because I was alive when we did have a community, a very strong community, and unquestionably the most beautiful community that existed in the world of that time. I was fortunate enough to be alive to see that. Um, Anyone who was born after a certain period of time will never experience that firsthand, and it's quite sad and unfortunate. But at least you're young and you'll live longer than me. Um, that being said, if you're going to have that discussion on why community doesn't exist, you would have to also have the discussion of what ended the black community, our communities that we have. And one of the main things that ended it is there wasn't a single black community. There was groups of black communities, all of which were in contention with each other for whatever reason. Or I shouldn't say all, but even the ones who were all welcoming, those were the ones that everyone else pounced upon. So for example, you had the, let's just call it the quarter zip community, or the back then equivalent to the quarter zip community. They were ousted by the pants sagging communities, and then the family communities was they had a hostility branch from the sisterhood combined with the rainbow communities. They kind of like joined forces to dismantle that community. And if I had to guess, in her case, I would say that she was part of the sisterhood, and now she's not. In fact, few black women are part of the sisterhood any longer. It's almost completely dismantled, and it's not dismantled because of its failure. It's dismantled because of its success. The purpose of the sisterhood was to make other women single, other black women single. Now they don't need the sisterhood anymore because black women are just single just because of the broken dating market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and years of reputation that was developed in the sisterhood. Make no mistake, the sisterhood was born out of single bitter black women. Take a look at the movie Waiting to Exhale. Ever notice how those broads didn't know each other when Angela Bassett was married? I mean, they knew each other, but they didn't get together and collectively slow motion hug each other on New Year's. No, they was all out looking for my penis, except Angela Bassett. Layla Rashad, what was she doing? Looking for my penis. Whitney Houston, what was she doing? Looking for my penis. Loretta Devine, what was she doing? Looking for my penis. They clamored together for comfort in their singleness. So when what happened to Angela Bassett happened to Angela Bassett, they're like, "Oh, I know I don't know you, but you're my best friend now." And what were they doing in this process? Making each other singular. I'm going to repeat that. What were they doing in this process? making each other singular. Oh, game changer. What do you mean they were making each other singular? They were already single. Wrong. You see, Loretta Devine had somebody, Gregory Hines or Richie Mack. I don't know which one is which. They look exactly the same. But Gregory Hines or Richie Mack was with Loretta Devine. When Whitney Houston was having problems with the Allstate guy, the advice is always simple and clear: leave him. Whitney Houston's mother even told him, like, hey, you know, you better stick with that man, because she went down that path. She understands that loneliness is the worst case scenario. And those slow motion hug friends are not always going to be there. Where was Whitney Houston, or excuse me, where was Angela Bassett when she was married and you was single? Where was she when you was at New Year's Eve parties, looking for penis amongst other women's husbands? Where was she then? Oh, she was, celebrating Christmas with her son and daughter. They're not your friends. How's she gonna have a whole dude for 11 years and not hook you up with anybody? Her husband don't have any colleagues. Her husband don't have any brothers. Her husband don't have any cousins. Her husband don't have one, not a single dude, not a single dude that's willing to smash Whitney Houston. Are you kidding me? No, she didn't give an F about her. None of them did. Now I got 868 people watching. Man, this is stressful. YouTube is stressful. STRSful. I swear. It's anyway. Look at this bitch. Oh no, back to the last one. Back to the last one. So she's talking about community. And what I'm saying is she found herself in a position because the sisterhood encouraged her to be in this situation. Now she probably, when she was younger and considerably better looking and less encumbered with children. But now they don't see a need. The sisterhood's job is to keep black women single, just like a union's job is to make sure that you continue to strike, that you strike when you want to. So if you join a union at the time that they're striking, their job is to keep you striking. Their job is to keep you striking. The sisterhood's job is to keep the most eligible women single, not just the regular ones, the most eligible women singles. Because Layla Rashad's character, she was young, she was pretty, and yes, she was slightly prettier than Holly Berry. Niggas was talking shit in college and in high school because I said that, and I stand on that shit. I stand on it. Layla Rashad was slightly, I say slightly hotter than Holly Berry. Motherfucker. So, and what did they do? They encouraged her to be a single goddamn mom. And she was happy when she did it. The father of her child was right there. He left his girl to be with her and blah, 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 blah. But she just said, I'm going to be a single mom. And she was proud of herself when she did it. She did that whole, yay, I'm a single mom, sisterhood. I got all my sisters with me. And then what do they do? When you become a single mom and you're fat and you don't look like the Layla Rashad of the 90s, you won't see them anywhere. And the reason why is because they don't need the sisterhood to keep you single. You got fat and kids. You don't need no sisterhood to keep this broad single. Her hairline keeps her single. The fact that she's a blood with pink on keeps her single. Like, you don't need anything.
Doing it on their own. And then it's like fucking reactive abuse to tell people, like, I suffer so bad. I suffer all the fucking time, so you should too. And I don't like that shit, yo. I just want to be somebody girlfriend, somebody wife, somebody son. This is one.
Okay. I gotta go back. I gotta go back.
And I don't like that shit, yo. I just want to be somebody girlfriend.
Oh my God. This chick is taking the Obsidian Mamiya Ali dental plan. I swear. And to at this age and at this stage, just say, I now want to. It's kind of like somebody at that stage and at that age saying, I just want to go to Harvard. Like, come on now. That's you say that you want to go to Harvard when you are in high school getting straight A's. Like, that's when you say that. You don't say it now. That's why people encourage you to do stuff like this when I just want a boyfriend. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Press 1 in the chat room if you would let her gum you down.
Somebody wife, somebody son. This is one of the realest videos I have seen in a long time. And I am so grateful that she was able to be that transparent, because I literally just posted something like this last week where we are hiding our vulnerability behind our strength, behind this fake positivity, when in actuality, a lot of us are tired. We're tired of being alone. We're tired of being.
That's good. Now you need to mail that to yourself 10 years ago. You see, it's not that it's fake strength or something like that, or they're doing it. That is a lie. They're just lying to you. They're just lying to you. They know it's awful. They're putting on a facade because they want to reel you in. Why? Because right now, once a woman reaches a certain stage, and we're going to call that stage this stage
I just want to be.
and this stage. Once a woman reaches this stage, she understands intimately that the only men that will give her, 10 minutes in a skeet of their time are the extraordinarily down bad sexually brothers. Those are the only ones that will do it. Now, what do? They try to convince the young woman. In fact, wasn't it some young chick in here earlier talking about, oh, Pam Grier is living a life. Yeah, right. This is the life she's living. This is the life she's living.
Somebody girlfriend, somebody wife.
This is Pam Grier's life. Imagine going from looking like Pam Grier, and Pam Grier was damn fine. And yes, Pam Grier in her heyday also beats both Holly Berry and Layla Rashawn. Pam Grier was just fucking smoking ridiculously, just like outrageously hot. It's like being on drugs looking at her. It's ridiculous. But it all ends like this, don't it? It all ends like this.
Somebody.
This is one of the realest videos I have seen in a long time. And I am so grateful that she was able to be that transparent, because I literally just posted something like this last week where we are hiding our vulnerability behind our strength, behind this fake positivity, when in actuality, a lot of us are tired. We're tired of being alone. We're tired of being single. We're tired of disappointments after trying to date somebody, going in with good intentions, them not going in with good intentions, because everybody got that dang on guard up. Everyone's looking out for themselves. Nobody wants to make the first move. Nobody wants to look stupid. So we all just end up alone. I am so tired of this war between men and women, especially Black men and women, when we all just want the same thing. We all just want love. I get it.
Okay, I agree. Both sides are tired of this war. You see, here's the thing. Black men never wanted this war. I'm going to say this again. Black men never wanted this war. I'm going to tell y'all something about black people in war. And I'm not just talking about black Americans. I'm talking about black people everywhere um, in war versus white and Asian people in war. And this is something that has really been just um, wearing on my mind and trying to find a solution to the philosophical nigga problem. And this is one of the roadblocks I've hit. So bear with me. Black people don't know how to end wars. And I think that this is a very, very, very detrimental thing that to black society, nation globally. We don't really know how to end wars. That's why you hear about hostilities and tribal conflicts, still within Africa and stuff like that. Um, which, if other countries in other continents behaved that way, you would still have like strife between Anglos and Saxons. It would be that petty. It would be that petty. Like after the American Revolution, it ended, and then we reopened trade with England. We now drive German cars. We now drive Japanese cars. The Japanese drive our cars because it's over. It is over, and it is done with, and it's kaput. We have Italian shoes, we have Italian leather, we have these this is places that we went to war with, like, the Confederacy. We have the Confederate States. You could visit there, the, it's over. It's over. Our stuff never freaking ends. This black gender war thing has been going on for a long fucking time. A long time, longer than all the other wars that I just mentioned combined. This has been going on. It just doesn't end. So, the crux of this war, the thesis of it, the essence of it, kind of like, the essence of the Civil War was independence, same with the American Revolution. So, what these things came down to was one side saying, I want independence, the other side saying, I don't want to give you independence. And then once it's declared what you want, that's why wars have declarations. Once it's declared what you want, then it's all a matter. The fighting is really about whether the other side is going to give it to you or not. And eventually you have to come to grips. Now, which means that the question is, because black women started this war, this undeclared war, what is it that you want? And that's the question. Black women, what is it that you want? Now, for the most part, if you were asked a black woman this question, she'll give you an answer that you can't rightly provide. Or she will give you an answer that seems like it's something that, that's easy to provide. I just want a good man. But the definition of good is so fluid. I want a good man with a good body, who's a good height, with a good job, with a good sized dick. That's good to me. Then you start digging into it. Listen, if what you want is a healthy family, which is really all we can provide, and that's all we want to provide, and really that's all we should provide. If you claim that you want that, you're lying because you had that and you still went to war. The truth of the matter is that they don't know what they want. I know what they want, but they don't know what they want.
Totally get it. I have nights where I cry because I'm like, yo, I know I'm not doing nothing wrong. I know I'm a great catch, but why is it so difficult?
I think there are people in this life who are genuinely.
From what I see, you're not a good catch. This goes from your physical appearance, and this isn't to say that you are an ugly woman, but it's more to say that you have the appearance of a woman who has a lot going on, um, to the point where your primary focus isn't on attracting a mate. you're not looks like you're probably a teacher or something. So you're not spending your summer vacations in the gym, and you're not waking up and doing your bad bitch workout or whatever women do. You're not doing these things. And I'm not saying that that's required, um because quite frankly not everybody can do these things. But what it is saying is that you have a lot going on, meaning that anyone who gets with you will inherit whatever it is you have going on in your life. Whether it's a bunch of kids, whether, whatever it is that's preventing you from doing these things, this person is going to inherit these burdens.
I'm not doing nothing wrong. I know I'm a great catch, but why is it so difficult?
I think there are people in this life who are genuinely happy being single. And I think that's great. But it sucks when you're not one of them, when you're a hopeless romantic, such as myself.
It does suck. And there are very few women out there that are genuinely happy to be single. Most women who are appearing to be happy single are really just coping, and they are trying to leverage a better deal. That's it. They're coping and trying to leverage a better deal.
And it just never seems to happen for you. And I don't mean that in like a codependent way, because I think you would have to have a dependent to be co-on. And or you would have to have a co to be dependent on. And I'm chronically single all the time. So this isn't coming from like I'm not like a serial dater that's like, no, this is coming from someone who's very consistently single, very, very consistently single. And I mean years and years and years. And I don't love it. I don't love it. And I think it's great that people love it. And I'm sure in some weird way this will be tied to like my self-worth or like probably some stupid fucking childhood trauma. I don't know. I'm going to talk to my therapist about it today, but I want to fall in love. I really do.
As a woman, I am tired of hustling. I can't explain.
Okay. Um, she is the most attractive one thus far. So my opinion of her is going to sound a lot different than my opinion of the other women, but it has little to do with her looks. And I'm going to explain why. Because the other ones, and let's just take her for example, who is less attractive. But really I want to focus on this one too. It's all about what can community offer me. I want to be someone's girlfriend for this reason. Like to wait that long and to say that when you have nothing to offer, and which means that you're asking for stuff when you have nothing to offer. It reeks of that. But she's younger, she's attractive, and she's just saying, I want to be a romantic. The other women were saying, like the first one, this one, I want, who gonna help me raise these kids? This one also with the kids. This one talking about I need a community and stuff. It's like, okay, what do you offer to a community? And I'm not talking about on some what's the table, I'm talking about when do you say to when do you pick up like a ladle and help the homeless? When do you pick up a book and read to the kids? This is something that people contribute to a community. You're looking for a community to take from. Now, let's go back to, and maybe there's a more attractive one here so far, but and I'm not saying she's the hottest woman alive, but I'm saying like, um, without trying, she is the hottest thus far. And believe it or not, there exists women in this situation. And I know that the first thing that y'all are going to say is, "Oh, she shoot down men all the time, and how many good men does she shoot down?" I think somebody said that. Believe it or not, there exists a not insignificant amount of women who are easy on the eyes and have a reasonably pleasant temperament that can't find a man. And the reason for this, there's a lot of reasons. The main reason for this is because there's no societal avenue for them to find a man. There's no place that they can go that's not corrupted by the other type of women that they can go to find a man. They can't go online because no self-respecting man would go online, digging through the trash hoping to find a decent chick. And since she seems like she wants a man with self-respect, then that avenue is blocked unless you catch one that just started yesterday and she finds him like the first day. But chances are it's like, dude, you've been digging through trash for years. So that's out of the equation. Nightclubs and pretty much every avenue that she could think of is out of the question. So now she's just a woman who is going along with her daily routine, hoping that somebody asks her out. And by the way, guys are doing that far less. Um, I never would suggest that men stop doing that, but be very discerning in doing that. So once again, even that avenue is corrupted because men don't want to do it because women act like complete and total stuck up bitches if you look at them and blink. So yeah, she's screwed and she's black. So which is double screwed. And I'm not saying that black people are genetically screwed. I'm saying that because black people don't have a community or a network to where they hook people up. Like if her best friend had a husband, neither of them would introduce her to anybody. White people are different. They like, oh man, you're single? I know a woman that's perfect for you. Remember the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin when Steve Carell was a 40-year-old virgin? And then when the people that he worked at Good Guys with found out that that was his situation, they're like, "Oh man, we're gonna get you laid." And it became like, even it was a black dude in it too, but it became like the group's mission to make sure that he gets some pussy. Yeah, black people, not a fucking chance. You're on your own, and you, sweetie, you're on your own, and you're in a very, very complicated position. So my sympathy do go out to some of you in this situation. Not the ones who wait until it affects them financially to start complaining.
Are genuinely happy being single. And I think that's great. But it sucks when you're not one of them, when you're a hopeless romantic, such as myself, and it just never seems to happen for you. And I don't mean that in like a codependent way, because I think you would have to have a dependent to be co on. Um, and or you would have to have a co to be dependent on, and I'm chronically single all the time. So this isn't coming from like I'm not like a serial dater that's like, no, this is coming from someone who's very consistently single, very, very consistently single. And I mean years and years and years. And I don't love it. I don't love it. And I think it's great that people love it. And I'm sure in some weird way this will be tied to like my self-worth or
They don't love being single. They just wanted to. They just want to convince you to love being single. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to her page to see if I can find some dirt. I actually want to like find some dirt to say this bitch deserves it. And I haven't yet. Oh shit. Yes, I have. Is this bitch fat? Yep. She fat and she hides it well under baggy clothes. Okay. Okay. You deserve every horrible thing that um has and will ever happen to you.
like probably some stupid fucking childhood trauma. I don't know. I'm going to talk to my therapist about it today, but I want to fall in love. I really do.
As a woman, I am tired of hustling. I can't explain how the last 5 years of my life has literally drained me. The 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 years of my life has just drained me because of I've been working super hard. I'm now going into my 30s, and yes, I do feel like a man should be able to provide the security it is that I need because I've been figuring it out myself. And
See? You see how the last chick was even though her words don't matter cuz she's fat, but you see how the last person was saying that I'm a romantic when she was stating the stuff that she offers a relationship, and this chick is talking about, after now that I'm 30, after working all this time, I deserve someone. What the fuck? What the fuck? I deserve to retire at 30 because I've been working so damn hard. Hmm. See how far less sincere it is? It's not lonely, it's broke.
holding it all up on myself for a very, very long time. And it just becomes a time in your life where you want to rest in your femininity and you just want to know that things are handled. Yes, I do feel like a woman should have things that it
Resting your femininity is code word for, retire on your pussy. That's what it is. I want to cash in my pussy retirement plan now. I have been building equity for a long time, and now it's time to retire on my pussy.
of her own. But I also just feel like when you're dealing with a man, we're craving for security at a certain age. We want to know that things are okay. We want to know that, damn, if I can't figure
Why in the fuck are you craving for security at a certain age? Why would a 30-year-old crave for security more than an 18-year-old? Have you asked yourself that? Maybe it's because an 18-year-old has more to offer for security.
figure this out right now. He maybe can take over. He maybe can take the lead and figure it out for me. But it's just I no longer want to be the woman, the Miss Independent, the Miss Big Money, the one with all the drive, the one with all the ambition, the one with all the plans, the one that's gonna just lead every single thing, because it makes me stressed out. Like, it makes me feel like I'm continuously in survival mode because I'm trying to figure out things and there's no it's just very, very stressful. I do desire as a woman a marriage where things are taken care of. Now I'm always going to have.
Were you not a woman 10 years ago? Why do you desire it now? Why do you desire it now? Were you not a woman 10 years ago? I'm a woman and I have certain natural desires. Nope. Nope. Any natural desires that you had would have manifested itself when you were 18. Well, you just realized yesterday that your pussy was empty? And like it says in the chat room, it's a depreciating value. Like, that's like me. I got a 1988 Ford Pinto. And I just realized now that I got to sell it.
My goals. I just want the things that I want to do with my life to be like my passion projects. Like, yes, I'm still going to work on the business that I'm working on. Yes, I'm still going to be working on my career, but I don't want to be working on what I'm working on out of survival mode because I'm trying to hold everything over the top of my head.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I just moved out of
Fucking asshoppers. Asshoppers. So, spread that term in like other chat rooms and stuff. Spread that word. Asshoppers are okay. So, when you're a kid, they tell you the story of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant is a species that prepares for the winter in places that have harsh winters. And, they store the food, grain, and stuff like that. And then, so when winter comes, they have a surplus. The grasshopper, however, you know, um, they play around and they gather grain and eat this and that, and when winter comes they have nothing stored and they starve because they don't prepare in the summer for the winter. I'm going to repeat that. They don't prepare in the summer for the winter. A woman's 20s and teens, late teens, is meant to prepare them for the rest of their fucking lives. You have all the assets to prepare yourself for the rest of your fucking life. And what do you do with those assets? You twerk and work and twerk and work. You twerk and work and twerk and work. That's it. And then you reach a certain age, like, oh, I don't want to twerk and work anymore. I want to retire. Well, instead of for using that ass to bag up, you should have used it to secure yourself for the future. Get a husband, get a kid. Raise that kid to be successful. That's a method of retirement. Like, what in the fuck? But you wanted to twerk and work. And it's sad. It's sad.
my 5-bedroom house. Okay. And I have been crying for days because I was so disappointed in myself. I felt like a complete failure as a mom, as a daughter, as a sister, because I got this house for my family. It's always been my dream to get my mom a house, to get my sister a house, because my family is small. Me, my sister, my mom. It's always been my dream to be able to do this. And so even though I was just renting it. It's something about not being able.
What in the hell? Okay, why? I don't know how this is even working. I don't know if they actually are aborting black boys, but how is it that women are always finding themselves in entire families that are completely female? Now, she don't have a father for the same reason why her kids don't have a father. Which we're not going to go into that. I'm just going to say because they're black women. So they don't have a father. I get that, but why don't you have any brothers? That's weird. Like they just find themselves set up in a situation of nothing but women. And they all relied on her to provide for them. Oh, and by the way, I hear on more than one occasion, because this is the way they think, because they're so community minded, that they actually are under the mindset of, if you have an extra room in your house, you should give it to me. And you will hear things said like, how come you won't just let me live in that room? It's empty. You didn't put in on this, man. Do I go up to women and say, hey, that pussy is empty. How come you don't let me put my dick in it? You see the logic that they work off of that don't work when you see that, right? Oh wait, she said she was renting. Let me see. Let me go back some. I'll go back to the beginning of her thing.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I just moved out of my 5-bedroom house. Okay. And I have been crying for days because I was so disappointed in myself. I felt like a complete failure as a mom, as a daughter, as a sister, because I got this house for my family. It's always been my dream to get my mom a house, to get my sister a house, because my family is small. Me, my sister, my mom. It's always been my
She didn't
dream
say rent.
to be able to do this. And so, even though I was just renting it,
Oh, okay. She did
it's
say no.
something about
Okay.
not being able to.
So I missed that. I missed that part. So, I mean, this isn't against any body that's renting or anything like that. Yeah, but no, that does change the perspective of what was going on slightly, but not extraordinarily. But yes, she's renting it.
Afford it, that just really took the wind out of me. But then the past few days, I've been crying so much, you guys. Like, you guys just don't even know. The past few days, I had to really sit down with myself and sit down with God and really look at all the things that I've accomplished. Like, I started my cleaning business. I quit my job 5 years ago. I started a cleaning business. In my first 2 years, I made $33,000 just off of me cleaning by myself. Okay, by
That is a very, 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 very weird flex. Very, 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 very weird flex. That's a very, 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 very weird flex. I would say, where do they find these people? But they're on TikTok. Okay, I want y'all to put in perspective what she just said. I started a cleaning business, and in 2 years, I made $33,000. Now, she don't catch it when she say it, but I want you to imagine a dude approaching her, and she says, "So how much do you make?" Well, I own my own business. I make about 15K a year. 16, 17 on a good year. And see how quick she don't dry her pussy, close it up, and walk away. $33K in 2 years. Notice how when you're dealing with black women, every dollar that they make is $10. Notice that? With black women, every dollar they make is $10. Meaning that they'll be making like 12K a year and they'll say, I make 120K a year. So I need a man to match my income. Let's fake it until you make it. Somebody said, I think she said 33K per year. I don't think she said that. However, let's just give her the benefit of the doubt and say she did. That's still a broke ass nigga. That's still 1/3 of what the minimum requirement of what these broads asked for. But it's actually a flex when she make it, and you got kids. I'm actually want to see if it was 33K a year or 33K 2 years.
All the things that I've accomplished. Like, I started my cleaning business. I quit my job 5 years ago. I started a cleaning business. In my first 2 years, I made $33,000.
Yeah, in her first 2 years, she made $33,000. I don't know what she made in her last 3 years.
Just off of me cleaning by myself. Okay, by myself. Then I had success on TikTok. I have a community of over 140,000 friends, followers, and I was able to secure almost $146,000 just promoting products on TikTok Shop. So I had to realize that.
Okay. I think that she inflated the numbers there because why would a person who made $146,000 even bring up $33,000? Like that's not really. This is negligible. That's like so. That's like saying yeah, I just pulled 250K last year, and I got some coupons, to Red Lobster, Good Guys, and PetSmart. Like it becomes negligible. It's like getting birthday gifts and somebody gives you a Mercedes and somebody else gives you a vase. And then somebody later says, "So, what'd you get for your birthday?" "Oh, I got a vase and a Mercedes and I got a CD with, Al Green's greatest hits." So I think that the 140 something K is either exaggerated, meaning lied, or um, it is from a collection of years of work, meaning that she spent the first 2 years, with the cleaning service. So she was set up through Molly Maids. And then she spent like the last 3 years doing the TikTok thing. And she made 140 plus K, which equates to 50K per year for the last 3 years. Keep in mind, all of this, if a man was to present this to her, you're a broke ass nigga.
I got it in me. One thing I could do is make some money.
Holy crap.
One thing I could do is make some money. But I was having a huge pity party because I've just felt like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that I'm in this space in my life. Like I feel like I'm going backwards. But let me tell you, what is having a luxury item, like a house, a car, all these clothes, designer things, when you can't even afford it?
I feel so stagnant in my life right now. Like, I feel like I'm so far behind.
I'm glad that she came to that conclusion. I'm glad that she came to that conclusion. What good is having all of these things when you can't afford it? I think that the spending habits of women, all women, um, and this isn't just because I'm a frugal man, but this doesn't being a frugal man doesn't help. Um, is retarded. Um, yeah, the spending habits of modern Western women is ridiculously absurd. I don't even have anything that I can like follow through on. It's ridiculously absurd. Like it's sad that it took you that long to realize like, hey, what's the purpose of having, a Louis Vuitton bag or something like that? Just luxury items in general. What's the purpose? I'm gonna go to her TikTok page after this. Being a TikTok influencer, that's mostly luck. Yeah, I don't know how much sponsorships pay. I do get, or I used to get offers for sponsorships on my channel. I would talk to Danica about it because they seem suspect, and I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. But nevertheless, the not only do it not pay enough, I think that they really just stopped with that. They started paying less. Like they started paying a lot less for sponsorships because people aren't really messing with sponsored goods like that. People are just skipping the commercials and stuff, and you know, when and I do this too. When I hear a sponsorship, mainly on tech channels that I watch, I do just like go past it. I think that MTR he has one where he talks about uh identity protection, identity theft protection. And he gets his money, but I haven't used that product, and I do think that they're far less likely to continue to sponsor him when they realize that, hey, just because I like MTR and I hear the commercial, that doesn't really equate to me actually going to their website and signing up for the product. It rarely does. So sponsorships tend to die down, and it's very, very, very unstable income. So she probably assumed that when she had a good year or so that she was balling, and she bought her mother and sister in. So the three of them lived in a 5-bedroom place. I don't know how many kids she has, and none of them contributed. Not only was her sister living off of her sister's house and not contributing, because if three adults contribute to rent, then you should make rent if three working adults contribute properly. But it seems like she held the burden all of her own. The sister got to experience motherhood vicariously through her kids, which is another reason why she did something like that. So just saying. Okay. Somebody said, no, it's not 6,000 to look at the likes. Listen, every now and again, YouTube just does this. YouTube just does this. I don't But if you're asking if I'm doing anything, no, I'm not. Every now and again, they just decide to send, hundreds of thousands of people and say that I'm watching that this is my show. No, no, it just happens, and I'm not doing anything to make it. I know I work in software. That doesn't mean I do shit like that. Well, at one point today, I think the highest I seen it was like 108K. So yeah. Okay, well, so it is. So you'll use it, and maybe it works for MTR. But I do know that it's not stable. Like MTR is really a household name, and she's not. And if I'm to be the judge of such things, I do think, and I think that what's her name made it clear. The chick that had a Obsidian kicked off. I think that she made it clear that that YouTube is the highest paid platform that exists today. So TikTok, Instagram, all that are really, they're not as paid as YouTube, which makes sense when you think about it, because I rarely see commercials on TikTok. It's always like 2 minute, 3 minute videos and stuff like these. So there really isn't much AdSense, nor is there an opportunity to um, send super chats and cash apps and stuff like that. So, yeah. Um, so I think she was exaggerating extraordinarily.
That there's no catching up. And I know people will say, but you're so young still, life's not over yet, like all this other stuff. And I feel like a part of me has thought my whole life that I wouldn't make it this far for whatever reason. Like I had dreams, I had aspirations and stuff, but for some reason I never thought I'd get to this point in my life. I turned 37 this year.
Oh, damn.
I've probably had one boyfriend my entire life.
Damn.
And even then, that one came later in life because I'm the product of two teenage drug addicted parents.
Damn,
Got ripped away
damn.
from my mom by CPS. My dad was not involved for a while. And even then, now, as a grown adult, I don't have a relationship with him at all. So it's just really weird at this junction of my life, feeling like I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who to be. I just don't know anymore. And people will ask me, what do you want? What are you this? What are you that? And I was just like, sometimes I just want to be like, I don't want to exist. Like, I don't want to die. But I wish there was a button that was just a do-over and I could just maybe get a better life. Like, I don't know. And it's so hard to explain to people because then they get uncomfortable and then they feel weird. And then you can feel them backing off. And then they try to act like, oh, no, 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 I don't. And it's like, you are, though, because you're uncomfortable because now you feel weird and now you're looking at me weird. And now I'm not going to be honest with you anymore because you're looking at me weird. So I don't know.
It's funny because and I can see that she's a bigger woman and her tits are sagging. She's 37 years old. I do notice, but she's been, in this situation for probably when her titties were upper. I do notice that there's two categories. There's ones who are looking for relationships for what they can get from relationship, community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They wish they had that, like the one chick in her car was talking about, we need a community. I have a flat tire right now, bitch. So when you have a flat tire, all of a sudden we need this, we need this, we need this. But then there's the ones who just want companionship, which is something that is a mutual exchange. In a healthy companionship relationship, you be my companion and I'll be yours. You know, a good example of companionship would be a scene from the movie Forrest Gump, where Forrest and Bubba were in Vietnam, and Bubba came up. Well, I forget where Bubba's from, because I was gonna say in that accent, but I forget. I don't know if he's from Alabama too, where that character is from, but whatever. You know, Bubba. Bubba comes up and he said, Forrest, You lean on my back and I lean right on your back. That way nobody can sneak up on us. And that's good. That's a mutually beneficial way to rest, um, reasonably safely. That's that's a win-win for both parties, for both Bubba and Forrest. And it seems like that is what this chick and the other chick, who turned out to be fat, is advocating for. Somebody says from Alabama. It makes sense that they're both from Alabama. Um, that's what both of these are advocating for, or both those two women are advocating for. So you could tell the difference. And then there's the other women who are advocating for, I want you to circle around me with your machine guns as I sleep in this queen size bed with the high thread count sheets. I want y'all to patrol my sleep. I want the community to come fix my tire, even though I have never, offered anything to a community. I want a boyfriend when I'm old and toothless, even though, um I didn't learn how to, you know, work around my teeth. Yeah, hot when I was younger. And I do this, and I don't do this because I'm an asshole. I do a lot of stuff because I'm an asshole, but not this. Um, in fact, I just did it. On Thanksgiving, I go to multiple homes and eat other people's shit. And it's not because this isn't something I do out of sheer assholeness. This is something that I do out of respect for the women who prepare the Thanksgiving cookings. I know that there's nothing I can bring or provide other than my, highbrow intellectual humor to a Thanksgiving dinner that is of any substance that would even be respected amongst the table of my grandma and auntie, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know this. I know this. It ain't shit I got. I ain't got shit on them. That's not my lane. Just like when men are fighting, there ain't shit you can do. Just go somewhere. What you gonna do? And then y'all ever have a chick that do stuff that you whip somebody ass and then she come and kick him in the back of the neck or something like that? Like, what the fuck was that? That is my contribution to a Thanksgiving dinner. So I just assume not do it because I'm not that nigga. On Harlem Nights, when Arsenio Hall and the crew they was like machine gunning the place, and then the dude came like pop pop. What the fuck are you doing? I don't want to have that contribution, so I don't bring shit to Thanksgiving. My point is that these are some non-cooking, non-bringing shit to the potluck bitches. That's my point. Let me play some more.
Life just really sucks for me right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix it, and I don't
Get
know how.
worse. It is going to get worse. Okay, so now that I got this working, shout out to Shay Sade. Now that I got this working, I'm gonna play another one that I seen. J.R. Wisdom was the guy. Fucking monkey girls. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on, let me show y'all what I see. Look at this. What is that? Look at her scratching the top of her fucking head. Fucking monkey girls. I swear, this is annoying. All right. What was the other one? Nope. Didn't want to do that. Y'all hit the like button and comment in the comment section. I'll get to them in a moment. Ah, here we go. Oh, nope, not that one. All right. Do. Yeah, so the same thing happened to Austin Holloman earlier too, like with the ridiculous amount of subscribers because he had like thousands of people viewing, but when I look, he has like 2,800 views total on his most recent live stream. So it happens to him too. Every now and again, it just happens to somebody on YouTube. Why are you fat? All right. Yeah, no, this what you see now is the real number. What you see now is the real number. What you seen before? I never have like 1,000 real people watching. So if you see something like that, it's it's fake.
Share my thoughts about being 30 something and not having a boyfriend, not having kids, and not being married. Have been so sad. I've been so depressed because I thought that I would have a family by now. I thought that I would at least be engaged or in a relationship at the minimum, and I'm not. And I'm getting older and I'm getting scared. Am I going to be on here one day coming to terms that I'm just going to be single? Like, it doesn't even sound right. I feel like I'm in such denial sometimes. Like, no, there's no way that I'm not going to be a wife. There's no way I'm not going to be a mom. And I'm like, am I being delusional or am I just having faith or am I crazy? Each day I struggle with this so much and I just don't know what to tell myself. Do I tell myself, don't worry, you'll be fine. Like, you're going to find somebody tomorrow or next year and be able to have kids before it's too late? Or do I tell myself, maybe you should figure out how to live life as a single woman and be happy? I don't know. That's all I have for today.
I've been seeing some videos on my For You page, and I think.
Okay. She could fall into one of the categories that I talked about. Well, like one of the categories to where she actually, I mean, she is bigger than I like, but she's not bigger than a lot of men, like my friend. So for those of you who weren't here, I have, what do you call it? A boarder that lives here. I guess that's what you ward, or what do you call someone who's staying with you for a bit? Basically, a friend of mine is going through a divorce. So until he uh get everything situated, which may take like 1 or 2 months or so, and get his own spot and stuff, he's gonna be here for a bit. So, and y'all hear him, he'll come in and stuff. So when he first got here at the beginning of the month, one of the first things I asked him was, do I mess with fat bitches? And he's like, no, but he do. He do. In fact, he probably with her right now. And so she probably is more his type. She's probably more his type. And which means that there is someone out there for her. Um, so I don't know if she falls in the category of I want to, I've been playing around in my 20s and now I demand something on the 11th hour, which is my 30s. Or if she just was looking for quite some time with no success because there's no avenues for, men like my friend and women like her to find each other. It's just chance. You're playing the pussy lottery. She got nice titties. Let's see what she has to say.
That it is finally time to discuss the female loneliness epidemic. Because I know the men have had their own thing, and I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not a man, right? But I will say that the men are more built for it than us. We are not built for this, ladies. We don't know how to be alone. These men have been.
Okay, so she's smart. She's smart. Because when they present this whole male loneliness epidemic, they make it sound worse than it is. Because there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Just like there's a difference between it being hot and a person being hot, or it being cold and a person being cold. Like it's cold in I don't know, Alaska or Greenland. But for whatever reason, you get those white boys that be the fat ones too, and what's it called, the Polar Bear Club, and they be like swimming in ice glaciers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cold, but it's not cold to them because whatever is going on in their DNA, like they're part walrus or something, whatever is going on in their DNA means that it's not really that troublesome for them. Same with loneliness. Whatever goes on in a man's DNA means that being alone don't really affect you the same way that it affects women. And she realizes that. So at least she has the understanding of men enough to know that what's being presented to the world isn't what actually is. Maybe she has brothers or some shit.
Bottling up their emotions and not sharing them with anybody since they were 6, 7, 8 years old. Some of us have never done that. We've always had someone to talk to, a friend, a family member, a significant other, something. And it seems like in 2025, the girls are running out of options because the dating market is terrible. Y'all are literally making fun of girls that are in happy, healthy relationships, saying that having a boyfriend is embarrassing, miserables. And y'all also don't have any friends because anytime somebody reposts something that you disagree with, oh, that's how you feel about immigration policy, you're not my friend anymore. Now y'all don't have any friends. Like it's not going to end well if you're required.
I like what she's saying. I don't like her voice. And I don't know if she talks real fast or if, JR Wisdom is doing fast motion. But it's really not just the speed. The speed is just a way to make it to where the tone of her voice hit me in a rapid way. However, yeah, I don't like it. That being said, I like her tits and I like the words that she is saying out of her mouth. And I like her mouth.
For somebody to have a relationship with you is that they have to be on the exact same page with you 100% of the time. No one is. We are all people with our own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and ideas. And if you don't respect that in another person, then of course you're going to be by yourself.
And as far as making fun of men, let's just get this out of the way. Men are already alone. Okay. So it's not a big deal. We don't mind. We're self-sufficient. You know what I mean? We're used to it. It's a part of a man's journey is being alone. We're not the social of the species, if you will. We don't constantly have to be talking to someone.
Yeah.
And I was just having this conversation, actually. And it's funny, a lot of these that pop up, I end up having these conversations. But women have so many options. And let me clear up.
Yeah, I mean, he's speaking truth. There's a reason why when I was a kid, you would find the Nintendo controller in my hand and the phone in my sister's hand. That's just how we are wired. In fact, the movie Cable Guy really highlight how men process loneliness. Um, and the thing is that am I saying that men process loneliness like Cable Guy? Of course not. Um, and that's why it was funny because Jim Carrey was a man with the need for social connection of a woman, which was very off-putting because the other guy, what's his name, Matthew McConaughey, I think, or Matthew Broderick, Matthew something or other. His character was just as alone as Jim Carrey. They were both single guys. He was just as alone as Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey was actually lonely. If men were really lonely like Jim Carrey would find no problem in finding company because he would have went to Matthew and Matthew would have said, "Yeah, let's go out, let's hang out, let's go to medieval times. Let's go to these crazy places and do these crazy things all the time because I need that connection." So he's right. We're built different. Excuse me. That's why you have shows like Girlfriends, but there isn't a male equivalent to that because we don't really just get together and for any reason like that. I mean, we get together to get shit done, or we get together for bowling, basketball, or something like that. But we don't just get together for the sake of getting together.
Options. I'm talking about in terms of loneliness. Women have so many options, and when I break it down to women, they're just like, I can't believe it. But it's true. You can literally make a post. Social media, and I think this is why women are ended up alone a lot of times. But you can literally make a post, show your face, show some TNA, and there's 100 dudes in your inbox that you can talk to. You can get on all.
Okay, he lost me with that. Oh, he lost me with that because that's not the attention that they're seeking. I mean, yes, it's 100 dudes in the inbox, but they don't want to do. They don't want that 100 dudes in the inbox. They want somebody that they can drone on back and forth with each other indefinitely. And I realized this at a very young age. Um, this was back before like Black Planet days when I started to realize this. It will be the baddest ones, and they were genuinely bad because this was before the days of filters and catfishes and shit like that. So they were genuinely bad, and they're always like in some far off land and shit, you know. And by far off land, I mean like Virginia or Delaware or some shit like that, somewhere on the East Coast, Miami. And they're hitting me up and they like, oh yeah, you could see me and we could be together. And I'm like, oh great, shit, you bad as hell. That's perfect. Like, all right, so but in the meantime, let's talk. Like, okay, I'm willing to have a few conversations for a baddie. And those few conversations add up pretty quickly. Now keep in mind that I don't know if plane tickets were a lot more expensive back then, or was I a lot broker back then? I think it was me being a lot, or maybe both, but I know I was a lot broker. Um, but if some chicks say, the concept of flying in was not something that was commonly done at that time, in or out. If someone told me, hey, you got to take a round trip to meet a baddie in this state, that was just unheard of, not just for me, but to everyone in my generation. So there were these attention seekers that lived off of that. They lived off of that. And I had to realize at that young age that this is pussy. Me talking to them in my malevolent intellectual tone is pussy to them. My comedic vernacular is pussy to them. The way I feel about pussy is the way they feel about hearing me talk to them. Which is why now I don't even online date and I guard my conversation the way they guard their pussy. Except when I'm talking to y'all. Want to know what else is weird? And this is something, I never will say that I understand women, but I do know them better than most. But I do not understand this. There are women who just get online looking for somebody dirty to talk to. Um, and I realized this when I used to online date, like around 2014, maybe around 2013, 14, 15, somewhere around there, right? I realized this back then. Like, I want to hear your nasty stories and your deep, dark fantasies. I'm like, are you going to suck my dick? Or are you going to talk about how you want to suck my dick? What the fuck is wrong with you? You nasty bitch. What in the fuck is wrong with you to where who in the hell? I don't go to a restaurant and hear them talk about food. What the fuck? Are you gonna suck my dick? These bitches were fucking nuts. And then on the opposite end, there are these guys who send dick pics and shit like that, and they actually pay for OnlyFans. They pay for this, and this is weird. This is weird. The fact that OnlyFans exists. So on one hand, you have OnlyFans, and then on the other hand, at least for me, and I'm not like a jawline nigga or anything like that, but at least for me, there was like a endless supply of bitches that just wanted to like video chat, and get naked on camera and shit like that. And I didn't want to do that. I'm like, are you gonna fuck me? Are you fucking gonna fuck me? What in the fuck is this? And I'm wondering, like, why aren't the two people meeting? Maybe somebody here of greater wisdom can explain how come these bitches that just like flashing on camera for attention get with the guys that just want to see tits on OnlyFans and just have like a free exchange of attention and video porn. Explain me. Because I think everybody is stupid but me. All right. Let's see the comment. Notice how it's only women who are talking about male loneliness epidemic. Absolutely. And not only is it just women, it's the men that they interview that give their honest accounts of their situation aren't even talking about it. Because they have to do a survey, but the guys would just say, yeah, and the ones that say, yeah, I haven't had pussy, in 2025. So, but they're not talking about it, and that's because I mean, like I rightly can tell that these guys don't care. They don't care about the loneliness part. Now, the lack of pussy part, of course, men are going to care about. Um, but the loneliness part, huh? But we want open legs, not open mouths. Well, we do want open mouths too. Yeah, ha. But y'all know what I mean. We never talk about women's vanity and their obsession with attention. I do. I do. Shout out to Alan Roger Curry. Um, he made the term for it, manipulative time wasters. Rest in peace. I came across a lot of those, and I'm like, you see, people have to learn what's important to other people when it's not important to them. People have to learn that. Um, Women learn at a very young age that pussy is important to men. Um, like the moment they hit puberty, and sometimes before that. You only gonna get broke women to talk to you, lame changer. What in the fuck do I care about her income? What in the fuck do I care about her income? Oh, you talking about the bitches from the from years ago? From Black Planet and shit? So fucking what? Are you Jesus? What a dumb thing to say. It wasn't even I don't even know those broads' income. I was broke too. If they were broke. What does that have to do? So I told you about this neighbor that I had who was a white dude, a muscle dude. He did some time, and he stayed in the neighborhood, and he lived with his mom who stayed in the neighborhood until he got his life together. And because I told you that story. So when I told you that story about the dude that came to the house and just like dug in a jar and ate like a bunch of the old M&Ms that I had up for decoration, that's him. So before he went back in, he would tell me about his experience in prison and some of the things that happened. And one of the things that stuck out to me, he said that some brothers will get a piece of paper and spray paint on that piece of paper and then shred it and roll it up and smoke it. And I think that's you, Inky. I think that's you. I think that you do some prison paint smoking shit because you are a complete and total fucking retard. That I think is that what it is? Have you been smoking paint to say something so stupid? What the fuck? I have a vivid imagination. I couldn't even think no shit like that. You know they broke. What the fuck does that have to do with the story? You fucking paint smoking bastard. What in the hell is your malfunction? Why you sound so feminine, man? Because my mama was a woman. Shut the fuck up. Why you sound so retarded? Jesus Christ.
Just to be raw about this, would you have sex with you? Can't believe I just said that on Oprah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this. Oprah be flagging people. I'll watch it and I'll give my assessment. Let me see if y'all have anything smart to say. This is here we go. Let's see what this is about. These women are carrying some heavy burdens. My goodness. A decent dude is expected to help alleviate these loads. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yes. This is disorder of things in gynocracy. Godspeed, fellas. Yes. And you're right. The women are supposed to, be helpmates, but instead they come with baggage that you must help with. So yes, the quality of women has drastically, drastically diminished in modern culture. I agree. Hey, what's going on, J Lot? Okay, so he's from Alabama, so that takes what? Because the reason why I was asking because I don't know what state shrimps like that. In fact, I don't even. I thought that Alabama was like landlocked, so I didn't know what state shrimp like that. And like we shrimp out here, I'm sure, but now I know. Bubba's from Alabama. Thanks. It's always a sob story with these women, and yeah, sometimes I do feel bad for them, because even when they put the bullshit aside, it's still very difficult. And I know because I have family members who you wouldn't expect to be single in their 30s and never had a boyfriend, by physical appearance at least, and from what I understand of their personality, and which is a lot considering that they're family, but nevertheless they find themselves in this situation. I do know that it is possible to do everything right and still not get the results you're looking for. I do know that, um, for women and men. So I don't want to pretend like I'm completely ignorant to that, but there are some women who are just grotesquely unprepared. Let me show you what I mean by grotesquely unprepared. Let me show you what I let me show you how much of a deficit black women are are behind in the whole ladylike struggle. Now I don't condone this shit, but but um Oriental people are different, very very different. So here, yes, this is a nigga in a dress. So I'm not going to even harp on the absurdity of how he looks, but I want you to pay attention to the daughters. Now, so what he's doing is he's teaching these little China babies how to be ladylike at a very, very, very young age. And this is why they dominate the spectrum of femininity. Because I like when they cover their mouth when they laugh. You know, where black women do that whole Suge Avery thing and the whole fucking bus here what the fuck they laughing at and stuff. They that's black women. He's telling his daughters to cover your damn mouth when you laugh and stuff. They be all belly laughing and shit like that. They're taught this at a young age. They shouldn't be taught it by a nigga in a dress. But like I say, Orientals do weird shit. But from the weird shit that they do, you can't knock the results. You cannot knock the results. Of course you hate it. You're a fucking human being. Everybody hates the shit. And nobody is teaching them. So this is the deficit, is my point. They have to go out and compete with their fat asses and their loud laughs and fucking don't know how to walk downstairs shit. They are at such a deficit to where the shit that they learn that these China girls are learning at a young age, they have to figure out, somewhere in their 30s when they realize that being alone is bad. So all fucked up. They're all fucked up. There is a huge femininity education deficit that they are stuck behind. Look at this bitch. All right. Here's some more bullshit. Find another job. Find another job. You must work in social work or corrections. Why is it a bunch of fucking laughing black bitches where you work? Why? You see, when and I know it's high numbers because they only do shit like that when they have the numbers. They code switch when they don't.
Because that's all that women can offer. Then when you gonna come out and tell everybody that you like boys? Can you tell us what man has tickled your fancy? Because if a man tickled your fancy, listen, he tickled your fancy. That's what you in. Listen, I don't got nothing to do with what type of traffic you letting come through your back door. You feel me? That's this man's back door. Now, if you got all this traffic, I ain't look. My name is Jay. I'm not the one to gossip. And you ain't heard that ish from me. You just have not. But if you like boys, then just say you like boys. But it's like, we in a day and time where you can.
Shut your fat ugly ass up. So, what do you think you were going to accomplish with that? You think that in order to prove that they straight, they're going to fuck your fat ugly ass? Bitch! Shut the fuck up. You're not going to get my dick. You're not going to shame me into fucking you? You are a beard. Gay men would fuck you so they could feel like they fucking a dude without actually fucking a dude. That's you. You have short hair and your man boobs or your woman boobs look like man boobs. You have the same shape of Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin. It's the same shit. You're a fucking fat ass bitch. What the fuck? Gosh. Damn it.
Really like boys and not have to go aggressively crazy on bashing women. Like, I feel like we're in that place. We're in a day and time where you can like whatever it is you like, and you don't have to go downing and
I do like what I like, and that is attractive in young women. You want to know what I don't like? Bitches like you. And it doesn't mean that I'm a hetero or a homosexual. It means that I don't like you.
bashing women, because when we do it, which I couldn't see myself doing that because I haven't met all men. Now, are there some
You fucking retard. I can't see myself doing that. I'm just going to accuse you of being homosexual. But I can't see myself bashing black men. I'm just gonna accuse you of being homosexual. You know, that's not bashing. That's just being passive aggressive as fuck. But I'm not gonna bash. I'm just gonna say that you might be sucking dick. That's what I'm gonna say.
men out there that are not worth much? Yes, there's a handful of them. But I will say this, there are more good men than there are men that are out here playing these type of childish games. They are. So I would rather spend my time giving props and giving kudos.
I don't want your fucking props. And I damn sure don't want your cooties. Did she just say I'm gonna give cooties to? Oh, kudos. I don't want that shit either. Listen, unless you have a beef and bean burrito that you haven't touched right now, there ain't shit you have that I want.
To the good men that are out there, opposed to constantly feeding that energy and giving life to the negativity that is keeping Black men and Black women apart. Because again, I can promise you,
it's not the negativity that's keeping Black men and Black women apart. It's the fat ass bitches that's keeping Black men and Black women apart. You fat bitch. How? Holy shit. I'm annoyed. I'm gonna go get me a burrito. I am fucking annoyed.
this little mama that said that about women, nothing but this, and promise you he not the same. The way you treat a Black way, I can promise you 9 times out of 10, again, and I've said this before, we don't act the same way when we date outside our race.
That's
and
like
when
saying the Klan don't lynch white people. Of course he's going to have hostility towards those who are hostile towards him. Jesus.
And I mean y'all, because I don't date outside my race. So y'all don't act the same way.
You don't date in it because you're fat.
Act when y'all dating outside y'all race. Y'all, everybody on their best behavior. The men are on their best behavior, and women, I love us, but we be on our best behavior too. Because listen,
now, keep in mind what she's suggesting isn't that we give each other our best behavior. What she's advocating for is that we give other races our worst behavior. I'm going to repeat that because she's shaming people for being on their best behavior. She didn't say that we give each other our worst. She's saying that we give others our best. Now, though this statement is true, it's very true. The solution is to give each other our best. Have you ever given a Black man your best? akeChezCharde gives her husband her best. Danica Marie gives her husband her best. Have you ever given a Black man your best?
when you out there with this pink man, you ain't out there twerking and wearing all these hooker clothes that you wear when you with your Black dude. You're not doing that because you're trying to impress him. You're not talking all crazy, talking about some, if he want to be with me, he gonna pay my bills and he got to pay the girl. Shut up! I'm so smooth.
So you're pointing out the same thing that men point out, but when we do it, it's because we're gay.
Lord, child, I'm so sick of hearing that.
I'm so
and he got to pay this and he got to
I'm so sick of hearing fat women say Lord child. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
pay that. Whew, the time you spend telling these dudes what they got to pay and what they got to do, you could have been up off your behind and had a job and doing whatever it is that you need to do so that you can take care of yourself. Listen, Jay, so you saying that a dude ain't supposed to do nothing for you? Well, let me just tie that in to our next hot topic.
Holy
and
shit.
y'all let me know what y'all think. So our next hot topic, the guy he's saying, if ladies, he said ladies, because he specifically said, if you are not physically, sexually attracted to a man, you should not be accepting money or gifts from him.
Ladies, y'all heard, I'm gonna say that again. Listen, hold on, I got the sip on this. Yes, child. If I could talk and sip at the same time, I would be dangerous. This man, child, I got the tea over here. Y'all scoot on up because I got the tea. This man said, ladies, if you are not attracted to that man, do not accept no money from him and don't accept no gifts from him. Now, I don't know why he allowed the devil to use his tongue like that. I don't know. But you know, when I read it, I instantly started rebuking his foolishness, okay?
Okay, so I honestly didn't know if she was for what he was saying or against it. Either way would be bad because if she was for it, it's like, okay, you're just saying that now because you look like shit, and you instead of her being focused on a man's wealth, you want to appear to be one of the good ones. But now it's like you look like shit, and you still feel that you should take money from men that you find repulsive. And that's not the problem. It's not that men are sick of shit like that. It's that they're homosexual.
I said, listen, I rebuke this foolishness that you are out here spewing in these internet streets. I rebuke this foolishness. What are you talking about? If she's not sexually attracted to him, she should not be accepting any money or gifts from him. Listen, if she's not sexually attracted to you, then you shouldn't be giving anything. But don't you dare try to
Prison paint paper. Prison paint paper. Just like that dipshit that was in the chat room earlier. She's smoking that prison paint paper. You shouldn't be buying her stuff if she's not attracted to you. How do you know if she's attracted to you? You're stupid. STOO PID. You're stupid. Fuck.
stand in the way of the things that the rest of us get. Don't you dare. You know what that's called? What that's called, sir? That's called player hating. That's called cock blocking.
How is that cock blocking when it's his dick? Shut the fuck up! God damn you! God damn! God damn! It burns. Your stupidity burns. It burns. It burns. I got welts. Fucking ignorant, stupid, ugly, fat bitch. God damn. I forgot what she just said. I forgot what it was that stupid. My brain has a defense mechanism because I was gonna repeat it and like I can't believe this bitch said this shit, but I literally forgot what the fuck she just said, and I'm not gonna replay it. Oh no, it says right there, cock block. God damn it! God damn it! Now it came back to me. She calls a man telling a woman not to accept goods from a man that she is not attracted to cock blocking. It's like a Rubik's Cube where somebody just mixed the stickers on the Rubik's Cube around to fuck with somebody, and you look at it and you know it was tampered with, and you just say, I'm not gonna fuck with this. I'm not even gonna respond to that foolishness. That was just fucking, yeah.
He's a player hater and he's cock blocking. We will allow no such foolishness over here, okay? We will not allow that type of talk. Because I rebuke that. I rebuke that. If he offers.
What in the fuck does that mean? I rebuke it. It's rebuked. So somebody said that she's talking loud to sound profound. For whatever reason, black people, especially church folk, which she's not, but she makes it a point to sound as if she is. Um, they talk like that because we often focus on how something is said versus what's said. So yeah, I can definitely see that that's her tactic and technique. I focus on what's said, um, and that's how I'm able to point out her stupidity.
Why should I not accept it? Does that mean that I'm also, you guys got to understand and y'all got to listen. You're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Because for those that agree with this, then you will be supporting the, oh well, you know, that's just a form of prostitution. If you accept the money for being with you. So that's because that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, listen, if you're not gonna hook yourself out, then you shouldn't be accepting nothing from this man. And sir, again, I rebuke your foolishness.
Okay, so by the way, if y'all notice what I just accidentally clicked, I like to watch Game of Thrones, alternative universe theories. So, but nevertheless, this bitch, she she is desperately trying, and this is something black women do. They hold on to this mammy stereotype as much as they can, and this isn't black or white people doing this to black people. This is something that black people, primarily black women, do to ourselves. We are the women rather gravitate towards these Medea characters, these loud, obnoxious, overweight women who I take no nonsense. There's like some fat bitch like that who has like a court show, and I seen like the first 5 seconds on it. She said, "Now I'm no stranger to the courtrooms," meaning that she's a criminal, and she said, "But now I get to be on the other side of the bench." They find these tropes, and then they find a woman who continue to perpetuate these tropes, and they just run with it because they think it's money in it for them. But as society grows and becomes less tolerant of it, it just becomes outdated. It's an outdated stereotype that has lived long past its time. Um, and the numbers show it too. So if you look, she has like 180 views um, on this on this thing, and you know she has like 600 videos. So and she has a whole studio dedicated to it. So like that whole thing, that whole Thea, that whole overweight black mammy, um, the mammy slash Jezebel type thing, or excuse me, the mammy slash sapphire behavior is over. Like what did he say on a soldier story? The day of the geisha is over. Holy shit. So I'm looking at her page, right? And she's really trying to play on that too. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. What the hell? Damn it, Kevin Murray. Now I gotta talk shit. And I like you. I like you. You're a moderator and shit, but I gotta talk shit. I gotta talk shit because it's part of what I do. I just can't help it. Damn it, Kevin Murray. That short hairdo on a woman that size is a red flag. Everything is a red flag. Her entire soul is a red flag. Are you looking for flags at this point? Are you looking for flags? Just imagine like an ancient battlefield where the one side where the red capes like the Romans and they out slaughtering like other groups of people, and then by the time everything's over, everything is all bloodied and red, and you the person to come around and say, "Ooh, that's a red flag." Everything about this bitch is red. Every There's a flag there. Everything is red. Everything is red. This is a fat ass hairless red bitch. Everything is high alert with this. So she's playing on this stereotype. She do lives with 65 people, and she's playing on this mammy stereotype that nobody want to see anymore. Are they too controlling? Nobody wants to hear some fat ass bitch with no hair anymore. That trope is dead. It's dead. All right, let me see. I seen something else, but that led me to believe that she was but it wasn't here. Where is it? Oh, maybe it's on her video, so I click live. Okay. So this is her most recent video, Just Say You Like Men, and that's the big video because the last one got 22 views. Do women give their best years to toxic men? No, they give their best years to other women and twerk fest. All right, let's see. Are you signs that they're dating someone else? No one is following this whole. No one is going for that. No one is going for this whole Medea thing anymore that they're trying to, capitalize off of. You're still a baby mama or baby daddy even if you terminated it. That's not wisdom. Look at this. More mammy shit. Like, even with the smile. Um, I can't find it, but there was a place where she had like a bunch of Louise Jefferson bitches and shit. Like she was really just playing. So here she does like old movies. So maybe that's it. Maybe this is gonna be it. Pillow talk. Nobody want to think about your old nasty ass pillows. Okay, so here we go. Claudine. So here's where she's talking about the old shit. Ah, here's what I seen. Okay. So, yep. Yep. She be in some baby mama shit. She be in some Oprah shit. Or not baby mama. She be on some Florida Evans shit. So she's living in the past. She's living in the past where women like her were treated like a fucking queen of foolishness. Where ugly bitches were given attention, and where fat bitches that look like this is the section I've seen before. This is what I'm talking about. See, back then, men like Fred Sanford, my great grandfather Fred Sanford, he actually had the cojones to call out these ugly bitches every day. Shout out to Fred Sanford. Shout out to Al Bundy. Every day, Al Bundy came home and complained about fat bitches. Every day, every episode, Al Bundy was like, at the shoe store today, and a fat woman came in. This woman was so fat, she had three smaller women orbiting around her. You see? You see that? In living color with Wanda. See? See? This page is a homage to all the fat ugly bitches of past and present. That's what this is. She's a bad person. Of course she's fat. By default, she's bad. By default, she's bad. You default bad. Fat bitches default bad. She got 10 views 3 years ago. And it hasn't improved since, and she's still doing the shit. Your shit's dead. Nobody want to see. We're oversaturated with fat ugly bitches speaking. We are. The black community is sick of it. Except for gay men. They love the mammy stereotype. Let me tell you something about rainbow people, both men and women. Because I seen some chick trying to eat Shay Sade pussy the other day. And the thing about it is that they don't like heterosexual relationships because it means less dick for them. So what they do is they try to do everything they can to drive the wedge between straight people. And turning them to a bunch of fat ass bitches with no hair is a good start. But guess what? No matter how many fat bitches with short fake hair that exists in the universe, I am not gonna suck dick, nor I'm gonna let you suck mine. That's just it. This wedge that you are trying to create is stupid work. Why? Because I am not gonna let you suck my dick. Ever. Ever! And they must live with that. There's some dude on some gay shit just in the whole manosphere space, and he be having Sin G on his show and shit. What's his name? I forget. But that nigga, fucking filthy mockingbird, be trying to just listen. There's no dick at the end of the rainbow for you. Fuck you. See what else you have to say. With all the older roles in shows and movies, I never understood the lack of black representation. No, that's because black people just want more shit. And the way to get it is to say there is a lack of something. Listen, we're 13% of the population, but we're like 40% of what's seen on TV. Fuck out of here. Name 5 Oriental actors that's alive. Name 5 of them. There's Jet Li and there's Jackie Chan. There's the guy from Squid Games, and so that don't even count because I can't name him. And Ho Chi Minh is not really an actor. What's his name? Bolo, the big swole Asian dude. Okay, Russell Wong. There you go. No, actors, not Lucy Liu. Actors. Then I mean we could do the same thing and say 5 actresses, and then there's Lucy Liu, and then there's Ba Ling, and then that's it. But where's their complaints? Where are they complaining? They don't complain. They just do. They too busy like doctoring. That's not an actor. That's a writer. I don't know who these people are. I know who King John is. Oh, Bolo Young. Okay, so you see how hard that is? How hard is it to name 5 black dudes? It's easy to name 5 black dudes. It just takes one movie to name 5 black dudes. You don't even have to be a black movie. With a 1/4 rate of black women bisexuality count as working with the LGBT community? Okay, understand this. Once again, when I say both men and women in the rainbow community undermine heterosexual relationships, they've been at this for years, particularly the carpet munching black community women. They've been at that for years. Alice Walker is munching a carpet right now. Some Hawaiian broad. That's what they do. As long as they're driving a wedge between black men and black women, that's more carpet for them to munch. Did y'all ever read Color Purple? They just be a munching and a munching and a munching. They be on some Edward Scissorhand shit. They all the damn time. I gotta go. I gotta go and eat food. I want to thank everybody that participated. I want to make sure you hit that like button on your way out. This is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.